Happy Wednesday, everybody. Uh, well, uh, it's Friday the day I'm recording this, so I don't know how things are going so far, but I'm encouraged to know that God's faithful and we're gonna have a great time at camp. I don't know what'll happen, but I expect great things. For the rest of us, though, we're on Wednesday of the video series here. I thank you for taking the time to watch our daily encouragement, where we're going to hit one of the hardest passages to go over, but we're still going to be encouraged because that's why we're here. We've been talking about the life of Jesus and his ministry, and honestly, the end of that ministry when he's taken before Pilate and getting ready to be crucified. We're in Matthew chapter 27, and we're going to start in verse 32. Now, we just talked about the soldiers, or not just, but in the last video, about the soldiers mocking him, spitting on him, hitting him with the crown of thorns, hitting him with the reed, spitting on him, and again, mocking him. And again, making the same claim that I'm going to make today. He did this for you and me, knowing what he was going to face. And he still did it. Verse 32, and as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. And when they were come unto a place called Golgotha, that is to say, the place of a skull, they gave him vinegar to drink mingled with gall. And when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled, which is spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots. And sitting down they watched him there, and set up over his head his accusation written, This is Jesus, the King of the Jews. Then were there two thieves crucified with him, one on the right hand and another on the left. And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of God, come down from the cross. Likewise also the chief priest, mocking him with the scribes and elders, said, He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God, let him deliver him now, if he will have him, for he said, I am the Son of God. The thieves also, which were crucified with him, cast the same in his teeth. So I want you to imagine the Savior of the world, and he's there alone. I told you about the song in a couple of videos ago, that he could have called 10,000 angels to destroy the world and set him free. He could have called 10,000 angels, but he died alone for you and for me. Alone. What are you struggling with today? Do you feel alone? Honestly, as I'm recording these, I am alone. Kids are not here today, and I'm recording these videos without them around. No one else in the house here, so I'm recording this alone. I understand that part of it, but I'm not facing torture, pain, agony. And I'm not facing it from the people I've come to help, to aid. Now, I'm sure as we look at this passage, we could make more out of the idea of Simon the Cyrene helping him with his cross. But I just want you to see how they treated this person, the Savior of the world. I want you to see how they treated him. So he's already had to bear this cross over to Golgotha. They gave him vinegar to drink mingled with gall. Now, if you're wondering what gall is, like I was, it's a bitter herb. So vinegar is not exactly the sweet tasting thing either. And it said when he tasted it, he wouldn't drink it. It's more mockery, more punishment, more hatred towards our Savior. It says, and they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled. They ripped his clothes. And they watched him and they set up, this is Jesus, the King of the Jews. They didn't set that up as a compliment. They set it up as an insult. Then there were two thieves crucified with him. I want you to understand what it said. They were two thieves, not two innocent people. There were two thieves, criminals. There were three people up there, and two of them deserved to be up there. Remember that. And then the people passed by. They made fun of him. Oh, you're going to destroy the temple in 3 days, raise it up? But save yourself. If you're really the Son of God, come on down from there. You know, and I remember as a kid, I would always think, what would that have been like? If he just said, you know what? And just literally, I don't know, I mean, my imagination goes crazy. He just slides his hands off, slides his feet off, and just comes down on the ground. And it says, later on, the chief priest mocking him said, he saved others, he himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him come down from the cross and we will believe him. And I hate to say it, I think that's a lie. You know why? I think they were honestly in their hearts hoping he didn't actually do it. But here's the other part. They knew the scriptures. They did. They may not have always believed everything, but they knew, they heard. And what I genuinely believe, they mocked him because they knew they can get away with it. They did. And it was a prideful piece. I'll give you an example. I want you to picture having an argument with somebody and you both know the truth. So one of you just decides to ask a silly, nonsensical question that you know cannot be answered. It's the idea like, can God build a rock so heavy that he can't move it? Well, that's just a horrible question because there's not a reason for him to do that is the answer behind it. But what you end up with is someone going, if he can't build it, then he's not all powerful. And then if he can't move it, then he's not all powerful. So either way, you're stuck without him being all powerful. And it's a nonsense argument. They knew if he came down, he'd be doing it out of pride, or he'd be doing it out of anger, or he'd be, and it wouldn't be according to the scriptures. It's my opinion. Nowhere is it doctrinally said that this is why it happened this way. You get the idea. They were just mocking him. So, verse 45, we'll cut this really quick just because we know the story, if you've been a Christian at all. But if not, listen to what I'm about to read to you. Verse 45, now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land unto the 9th hour. I wonder why. And about the 9th hour Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Some of them that stood there, when they heard that, said, This man calleth for Elias. And straightway one of them ran, and took a sponge, and filled it with vinegar, and put it on a reed, and gave him to drink. The rest said, Let be, let us see whether Elias will come to save him. Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. Key thing, I don't want to spend a bunch of time on this, but something to remember. Yielded up the ghost. You notice the action was done by Jesus. He said, It's now time. They didn't take his life. He gave his life. Remember that. If you get nothing out of anything else I've said here, remember, Jesus gave his life. It was not taken from him. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom. That's significant. And I'm going to go a little much on this one, but forgive me for this. The idea of the veil was what separated man from the holy place, what represented God's presence. And that veil, because Jesus died and paid the price, that veil was rent from top to bottom. Now think about it. That veil is super high and it's super thick. And the fact that it rent from top to bottom meant that it wasn't somebody sitting there doing it. It was God that did that. There's more that we can go into, and as time goes on, maybe we'll go back and we'll talk more about that. But it says, And the earth did quake, and the rocks rent, and the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. Now when the centurion and they that were with him, watching Jesus, saw the earthquake, and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, Truly, this was the Son of God. And many women were there beholding afar off, which followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering unto him, among which was Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's children. What do we take out of this? He knew what he was going to face, and he still did it. He made the choice to do that for you and for me, and he faced that. And it says here towards the end, somebody recognized this was truly the Son of God. Do you realize that today, as you deal with the struggles and the heartaches and the anger and the hostility and the frustrations and everything that you feel like is going against you in life? Realize Jesus died for you. One, to have a home in heaven, but two, to be able to have fellowship with him, so that he can get you through the everyday. He can get you through the heartache. He can get you through the trials. He can get you through the difficulties. And it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows to be a Christian. It's one of my frustrations when you see all these YouTube videos or shorts that the preacher is just like, just believe and everything will be great. No, Jesus never said that. What he did say is, I will get you through. And this is part of the learning process. It's part of growing up, so to speak. See, we can look at the crucifixion, and as sad as it is, realize it's what gives us the hope to have that relationship with him. Next up, the burial, and if we go quick enough, the resurrection. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. Hope you're excited too. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Happy Wednesday again. Like, share, subscribe. Have a blessed Wednesday on purpose. And until the next time, go out there and be encouraged. God bless.